Okay, so this is algebra. We'll look at algebraic expressions, and then I thought we should start it with paper one questions. These are typical questions expected in paper one mathematics at this level. So simplify the following. This is from 2020, paper 1. This was question 15. So all you need to know to solve these four problems is the like and unlike terms. And then for this one, you just need to know how to expand or to use the rules of indices, which we shall look at in details when we open. Okay, so simplify the following. Let's start with the first one. To simplify this, we have 5a minus 4b plus a minus 3b. This is question A. So now, the first thing you want to do when you have a problem like this or an expression like this is put all the like terms together. So let the apples be with the apples, the bananas with the bananas, the chickens with the chickens, the eggs with the eggs. That's the whole idea. And then what you have to bear in mind is if you have a positive 5 like this, write it as positive 5 and then get the other number which has an A on it. As you can see, that number is this. Remember, we don't put a 1 here because the 1 is just understood. So always have an invisible 1. Because we have a plus here, we shall have a plus there. You don't get this minus. Just stick to the sign which is attached to the letter you are moving. So we have an A, which is a positive A like this. We don't have any other letter which has an A, so we can move on to the next one, which is this one. So this is negative 4b. Make sure that you write it as negative 4b. And then the term like this is this one here. So these two are like terms. You put them together as well. Do we have anything else? Nope. As you can see, we have written down all the four terms. So now the next thing you want to do is to add or subtract depending on the signs you have. So this one is positive 5a plus a. Remember that a means 1a. We have an invisible one there. So when you add these two, it's like saying you have 5 apples and an apple. You don't usually say one apple. Yeah, it's okay to say one apple, but it's better to say an apple. So you can say we have like 5 apples and an apple. How many apples do you have altogether? As you may have guessed, this is 6 apples. So we have 6a. 5a plus a, this is 6a. So now next we have negative 4b minus 3b. So now in this case, before you do anything else, you need to check the rule which is attached to negative numbers. So we have two rules, same signs, add, and then different signs, subtract. And of course, you get the sign from the bigger number unless you are required to maintain the same sign. So now, in this case, we have negative 4 and negative 3. You can ignore the b for now. So negative 4, negative 3 means you have the same signs. So what do you do when you have the same signs? You add. So negative 4b minus 3b, this is negative 7b. because we have the same signs, we add the two numbers. 4 plus 3, that's a 7, and then we maintain the same sign. If you want, you can get the sign from the bigger number, which is 4, and then you write it as a negative there, but it doesn't make any difference since the signs are the same. So whether you get it from the bigger number or the smaller number, the answer will still be negative since these two are the same. So as you can see, what we have here are unlike terms. So you can't add them, you can't subtract them. So you end here. This is the answer. And this was someone's exam. And each of these questions will have 2 marks in your final exams. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. The next one is 3x squared minus x plus 4y squared plus 2y squared minus y squared. This was 2020 as well, except that this was external. So part B, we have 3x squared minus x plus 4y squared plus 2x squared minus y. So if you know what to do, you can even pause the video and attempt it and then compare your answer with mine so that we are moving in the same direction. So now we can collect the like terms. So in this case, the like terms, when you look at this and this, they both have an x, quite alright, but this one is squared. This x is squared, this one is not. So in such a case, these two are said to be unlike, despite the fact that they have the same letters or the same variables. So now, it's not just about having the same variable. They must be the same variable raised to the same power or to the same index. So in this case, we have 3x squared. What we do after this is we find another term which has an x squared attached to it. So you check this one, it doesn't. You go to the next one, it doesn't. This one does. And make sure that you take note of the sign which is attached to the number. So in this case, this is a positive. So we shall write it as positive 2x squared, like this. And then next, we can try to check if we still have any variable that has an x squared, and as you can see, we don't have any other. So we can just move on to the next one, which is this. So I'll write this with its negative sign. Remember that this is negative x. I'll write it exactly as it is. And then I'll check if I have any other term with an x on it. I mean x without any power, or should we say x to the power 1? So as you can see, we don't have any. So we can move on to the next term, which is this. So you can say plus 4y squared. Then after you write this, you find another term which has a y squared attached to it. So that term is this one. As you can see, this one has a y squared. So make sure you get it with the sign. Don't put a positive here just because you have a positive sign there, like this. And then after this, we can add or subtract because we have all the like terms together now. So 3x squared plus 2x squared, this is straightforward. This is like saying 3 plus 2. This is a 5, right? And then you have an x squared attached to it. So this will be 5x squared. And then next we have an x. This one has no friend. It's lonely. So we can just write it as it is. There's nothing to add to it, we have nothing to subtract from it. So we just leave it like that. And then next we have 4y squared minus y squared. Remember, when we have a y squared, it means we have an invisible one here, which we don't usually write, but you have to know that it's there. So now we can say what is 4 minus 1, or 4y minus 1y squared, of course. This one will be 3, and then you write the y squared like that. And then next, you want to check if you have anything else to add or subtract. Do we still have any like terms? I'm sure you can see that we don't, because this is an x squared, this is just an x, it has no square, so we can't subtract, we can't add. And then next we have 3y squared, which equally has no friends to add or subtract. So we can end this one here and conclude. So next, let's move on to part C. Part C is a bit different and probably much easier. I don't even know what is hard, because everything in algebra is easy. It's just a matter of practice. Eventually you'll fall in love with all these things, and then you just find yourself solving all the time, huh? Okay, so we have 4a squared b squared multiplied by 5bc squared. So what you do here is you write everything in expanded form. I will show you an easier method when we open, if at all we shall be together in grade 9. So what you do here is you write this in expanded form. So you can write your 4 and then write a squared in expanded form. So this one will be a multiplied by a. And then remember, when you have no sign, it means you are multiplying. We don't usually write this, but they decided to write it anyway. So multiplied by, we have a b squared. B squared means b multiplied by b. How many times? 2 times. This is why I'm writing 2 of them. Then multiplied by 5. Then multiplied by b. We only have one b there, so you just write this. Then multiplied by c squared, which is c times c. And then everything over, we write the denominator in expanded form too. So this one will be 10 multiplied by a multiplied by b squared, which is like b multiplied by b. Remember, b squared means b times b, not b times 2. So make sure you write 2 b's and then multiplied by c. So now once you do this, you are almost done. It's just a matter of cancelling out the common terms, because they are dividing. So this one will divide by this. So these two will give us a 1. So in short, they'll just cancel out. And then do we have any other a here? We don't. This b will cancel out with that. Make sure you cancel 1 with 1. Like 1b with 1b on top. Do not cancel out 1b with all the b's on top. And then next, you do the same. This one has a friend there, so we can cancel them out like that. And then lastly, we have a c, which has a friend there. You can cancel it out. And then do we have any other letter to cancel with? No, we don't. So that means you leave the a as it is, you leave the b as it is, you leave the c as it is. If you had another c there, you would cancel it out with that c. So now next we can check the numbers and find the common factors. So if you want, you can also cancel the numbers out like this, or you can multiply them first, which I think is easier. So you can say 4 multiplied by 5, this would be a 20. Maybe let's just cancel them out. So 5 into 5 is 1, 5 into 10 is 2, like this. And then 2 can still go into 20, so you can say 2 into 2 can go into 4, so 2 into 4, this is a 2. So on the numerator, we remain with a 2, an a B, and a C. So this one will be 2 times A times B times C. And then on the denominator, all the numbers and variables are gone, so we're just remaining with a 1, which we don't usually write. So this one will be 2A, B, C. Remember, 2 times A is 2A, and then times B, that will be 2AB, times C, this will be 2ABC. We just remove the multiplication signs. So this is the answer for this. And then on part D, we have this one from 2023. So as you can see, the ideas are all the same, which is why I believe failing mathematics is very hard, in that you already know what to expect in your exam. They'll just change the numbers. So we have a 2x, as you may have guessed. You write your 2x, and then next you find another term similar to this, but I think I made a mistake here. But anyway, this is still solvable. So we can have 3y. Since we don't have any term with an x, you can move on to the next one, which is a 3. And as you can see, these are all y's. So these 3 are like terms. This guy is alone. So you can say 2x plus, in this case, you are free to add or subtract the numbers in whatever order you want. So I'll start with these 2 here. So in this case, we have 3y minus 6y. So to manipulate these or to subtract these, remember these 2 rules: same signs add, different signs subtract. So in this case, we have different signs. This is a plus, this is a minus. So when we have different signs, we subtract. So different signs subtract. So what is 3 minus 6, or 6 minus 3? This is a 3. And then you get the sign from the bigger number. So in this case, we have the 3 and a 6. So we shall get the sign from this one here, which is a minus. And then you have a y, then minus y. And then next, as you can see, these 2 are still like terms. So to manipulate them, you simply check if you have the same signs or different signs. And as you can see, we have the same signs here. So same signs, add and maintain the sign, or you can get the sign from the bigger number, whichever works for you. Okay, so when you add this to this, remember that there is a 1 there. So 3 plus 1, this one will be 4y. And then if you choose to get the sign from the bigger number, that will be a negative. If you choose to maintain the sign, you still have a negative. So this is the answer for part D. And then finally, we have part E. Part E, we have negative 5x plus 2x squared minus 8x plus 9x squared. So like I said earlier, you have to find terms whose x variables are raised to the power 1. So in this case, you have this. and that. So this and this are unlike terms, despite the fact that they both have an x on them. But because this x here is squared and this one is not, so the two are considered to be unlike terms. Okay. So after getting this, I can move on to this one here. Remember, these two are like terms. Okay, so this will go with this. Remember to get the sign. You don't use this sign here. You get the sign which is attached to the number you are using. And then next, you have 2x squared. The friend to this guy is this one here. So this will be 9x squared, because as you can see they both have a square on them, so that makes these two numbers like terms. And then since we have like terms here, we can easily add or subtract them. So looking at these, remember our song, same signs, add, different signs, subtract. So in this case we have the same signs. This is negative 5x and this is negative 8x. So they are both negative numbers. So we add them and maintain the sign or get the sign from the bigger number. So you can say 5 plus 8, this is 13x. And remember to get the sign from the bigger number or to just maintain the sign, since the signs are the same. So whether you choose to maintain the same sign or you choose to get the sign from the bigger number, the sign will still be negative. And then next we have these two. So these have the same signs, so we add. And these numbers are the kinds of numbers we've been dealing with since grade 1. So 2 plus 9, this will be 11x squared. So now, if you don't have any other like terms here, then there is nothing more to be done. You simply end here. So let me just give you a simple assignment based on the work covered. So you can just pause the video and copy these questions, and then you can submit the solutions this week. In fact, before the end of this week, because we still have a few other topics to cover. Anyway, I'll announce in the group.